Trap squad, 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 trap squad. Hey, clickbaity political. Yeah, thirst trap, trap squad, squirrel squad. Our mission is critical to speak the truth to the masses. Yeah. We here for the fight. We ain't started, but we here to finish it. Sick and tired of seeing the privilege, take advantage of the weak and the innocent. So we let a voice be heard every single weeknight. Unapologetic. Yeah. Black people, despite this white supremacist system that we live through on a daily, we still throwing up those acorns cause we represent clickbaity. Trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, let me hear ya. Trap squad, trap squad, throw those squirrels up if you with it. Trap squad, trap squad, yeah I see you, yeah I see you. Trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, ThirstTrap, trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, let me hear ya. Trap squad, trap squad. Throw those squirrels up if you with it. Trap squad, trap squad, yeah I see you, yeah I see you. Trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, ThirstTrap, trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, trap squad.
What's good? What's good? What's good?
Welcome everybody to a Tuesday edition of Clickbaity. Political Thirst Trap. You are with the two OGs of the Thirst Trap, Marcus Farrell and Mondale Robinson. We'd like to welcome all the ladies, gentlemen, and non-gender conforming individuals to the next
Hey, yo, you
episode.
see me immediately? You see me immediately? Like, you say, we like to welcome all the ladies. I'm like, don't start with the R&B shit tonight. No. This is a show for everybody. This is a show for everybody.
Mondale, man, where the hell you been, boy?
Man, just dealing with life. And because y'all are motherfucking Trap Squad, y'all know exactly what we do. This ain't no commercial shit over here. We love y'all for being patient with us, but you met us this way. So, it is what it is. Rather than give y'all some bullshit, we need to be whole before we come on air. And tonight I'm whole. So what's fucking good?
Nothing, man. Fuck the police.
Man, fuck the police. But in this case, on some real shit, and this ain't changing my shit about nothing. I'm still an abolitionist. We need to get rid of all police officers. We need to defund the police. But that motherfucker just let me go with a warning ticket. So fuck the police, but
hey, listen, I talked about this
actually here's what I should say. Here's what I should say. All motherfucking cops should get warning tickets. So he ain't did nothing special. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, let's take one step at a time. He let you go, right, bro? Like I was talking about this. I was talking about this last night, man. I said, listen, I don't think all cops are bastards. We need to stop saying that because it's not a factually true statement.
We never give a fuck about the individual cop, though. It's all about the institution.
No, but just follow what I'm saying to you, right? Like that brother that was in. Let's see his police record. The brother that was in the Capitol that basically saved democracy single-handedly. He was a cop. But he was doing his job.
Yeah, Eugene.
So, yeah, you know what I mean?
We listen. But Marcus, we never say all or anything. We niggas. So we don't buy into the idea that all of anything is actual. We know when you make that statement about all, then you already made yourself a liar.
I know. But I mean,
what we do know is all institutions that are police departments are fucking corrupt.
That's right.
And shout out to you for getting the memo. Shout out to you for getting that memo about the goddamn military look today, nigga.
Oh, that's what we're doing today? Yeah, we about to
shit organic, nigga.
People. Hey, we about to scare
y'all should be afraid.
White people.
All white people watching today, you should be afraid. Nah, I'm just fucking with you, but seriously.
Hey, you hear
Marcus,
you hear
what's
that?
Up, my G?
Mondo, you hear that? That's the ancestors telling us to get militant.
Guerrilla warfare out this bitch. No, listen. Listen, Marcus, I do want to say something. I do want to say something though, because over the past 4 episodes, you've been holding it down, and shout out to you for doing that, brother. All of our trap squad, everybody should throw up some squirrels for Marcus, because thank you so much for holding it down while I was dealing with situations. It does not go unappreciated, brother. I appreciate that. I know the taxing load it is to be the only personality on this show, so I appreciate you doing that, fam.
You just gave me all the time in the world to corrupt them to my side, so you have to spend a lot of time bringing them back.
They already know. They already know you're the light skinned guy who's very emotionally unstable because you're light skinned.
I do have,
and you lick your lips a lot like LL Cool J. And you lick your lips like LL Cool J.
I do have mental issues because of my light skin.
Shit,
right? I mean, listen, you know me, like Kid and Play, Chris from Crisscross, right? I'm like everybody that I'm the light skin version.
Won't both of them niggas named Chris?
Yeah.
Hey, won't both of them niggas named Chris from Crisscross?
Yeah, right, whatever. Both of them named Crisscross, man. We got
Marcus.
We got a lot to discuss tonight. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew this real quick.
We do. We go ahead.
Mondale brought me back down to earth today in a conversation. Now I was fucking with Mondale for the most of today, just literally just trying to get on his nerves. I don't care. He
loves me. He ain't got no fucking choice. You don't got no choice. You love me, bro. You don't got no fucking choice.
And here's where he brought me back to earth, Trap Squad. To all the new people who are going to watch us. And by the way, before we go too far into this comment, y'all like, share, subscribe, but share this. Go to Twitter, go to your favorite posting place and put, I'm watching the Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap. You need to be watching it too. But Mondale brought me back to earth today because Mondale said something to me today that I just had to think about. Mondale was like, basically, man, we don't need all them bells and whistles. We don't. And I realized something, man. All we really need is a trap squad at our back. We'll occasionally bring some people in to interview them, right? But, as Pac said, how you the fucking mob? We the fucking mob. We don't need everybody and their mama. We're going to give it to you all every night, just like this right here, because back to the basics. We don't need too much bells and whistles. We got Dwayne and Tunde and Mondale and the Trap Squad and Marcus. And military colors. So today's your military appreciation day. So let's rock and roll, man. You want to start off? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you how the universe works, Marcus. You know this. I ain't told nobody else this. We're gonna keep it a buck. We ain't gonna get too specifics because we know how we know how shiesty motherfuckers are. But what we are gonna do is tell the truth, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yesterday, in the past few days, Black Male Voters Project and Mondale has been doing some property situation, acquisition, acquiescing. What's the word? Come on, nigga, help me out. We've been buying property. How about that shit? Fuck it. We've been buying property. So we've been buying property so we can open up our first coding school. I'm not going to talk about where we bought this property at. I'm not going to talk about what we did, how we got this property, but we're about to open up schools for brothers coming home from prison so they can get coding certificates, and with those coding certificates, they will be able to get guaranteed employment. So we're working on that partnership right now. But the reason I bring that up right now is not to brag about what Black Male Voter Project is doing or to talk about these schools. It's actually to talk about property and what it means to own property as a Black person. In these United States, if you own fucking property as a Black person, you still need a white person, Marcus, to call an appraiser so you're not undersold. We heard about this couple out in California who motherfucking had their property appraised and they got lowballed by $500,000 because they were Black. And we know this to be true. How? Because they got smart enough to call one of their white friends to go with the appraiser the next time, and their property was appraised at a $500,000 more. This is fucking. This is not $20,000, $500,000 more.
$50,000.
Bro, this is redlining. Bro, this is redlining. This is redlining redefined. This is what, and I want to know this. I don't even know why I've never thought about this. I want to know every time a Black person bought property in this country and they were lowballed by white appraisers, because I bet you this is not a one-off thing. This appraiser has been doing it. This person should lose their license or their ability to appraise houses legitimately. And then we should also go and check out systematically where else that this has been happening, because I promise you this is the case all over. And this is why property values in Black communities are held down. This is one of the reasons. You can add a bunch of other reasons that the governments are responsible for, like the lack of sidewalks, the lack of investments, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But this right here shows you all that the shit that we talk about, the idea that people don't want us to stop talking about race, are telling us to forget our existence and what it means to be Black in these United States. What say you, Marcus?
Exactly. If you think about what extra $500,000 means for generational wealth, that's a good
and another
start.
Motherfucking house,
right? Like that's a good start. That is literally 12 to 20 years of retirement for one couple. If they're living within their means, that is another investment of a house. That is what white people have all the time, and you don't hear these complaints from white homeowners, right? And this story itself brought me back to a place where when me and my ex-wife were evaluating our home that we lived in at the time, I was always wondering, how come a house that has one less bedroom, but one more half bathroom, worth the same square footage, actually a little smaller, has more value and is $20,000 more valuable than the house that we live in? And it just always boggled me. And then I realized something. It had to be something to do with color. And this is just $20,000. So imagine these appraisers all around the nation valuating Black homes all around the nation. And they're not doing it as blatant as $500,000, but they're doing it like $5,000, $1,000, $20,000. The difference between people buying and selling houses is $20,000. Do you think you can come down an extra $5,000 and we'll think about getting it? Anybody ever bought a house? That's how that process goes.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. Right? Do you think you can drop it $20,000 and pay the closing fees for us? Like, when you have a $500,000 house difference between appraisals, that means that you show up to Zillow in a tuxedo instead of a tracksuit. You don't even have the same kind of people looking at your house. You get more money for a possible loan if you want to invest against your house. You can start a whole ass business for $100,000, for $50,000, much less $500,000. Home ownership in America is how wealth is built. More than just these people should lose their license. That appraiser should go to jail. That should be completely illegal. Make me out to be the bad guy though, because I'm gonna say it like it's supposed to be said. I'm kind of angry about it because, like, think about that. I'm looking at houses right now. Not gonna tell you my margin, not gonna tell you what I'm looking for, but all I know is this right here. $500,000 above what I'm looking for right now will literally take me out of where I'm looking at. So don't mess with our generational wealth, man. Don't mess with it. But that's what happens, right? So these home appraisers, I mean, but you got to think about it. This is just one racist aspect of the real estate market when it comes down to African Americans. For instance, in Atlanta, Georgia, you can buy a house somewhere in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm not talking about flip it, the house. I'm talking about just buy the house. And if a white person owns that house immediately becomes worth more money than the Black person who initially sold it to you 6 months ago. And the appraisal rating in the area hasn't gone up or down. But that's just Atlanta. I mean, we still have neighborhoods that get higher evaluations on their appraisals because they got the word plantation in their doggone neighborhood. I mean, shit. Might as well go ahead and call what they call the place in Texas, Mondale Niggerhead Ranch.
Niggerhead Ranch,
Is that what they called it?
Hey, that's what they call it, Niggerhead Ranch, and that was not a let's be honest, that was not a damn a rare space. That was an elected official's property, right? Or a spouse of an elected official or something.
Who feels comfortable writing down? You know how many people
Nigga
have to
head.
write? You know how many people have to write down? Like just
Can you
just
imagine
write
when you
down.
when you went to sell that property? It's on a deed, man.
Like who feels that
Property seller?
comfortable?
Oh, today I'm selling nigga head. Today you gotta,
You
you gotta
know,
let go of nigga head.
honey, we're looking at houses. Well, did you see the property at Inward Head?
Yo, it's because we live in this motherfucker, man. This
Dude.
is the shit we live in.
I can't.
Meanwhile, Marcus. Meanwhile, we can't even get white people convicted for trying to burn this motherfucking government down instead of government, bro.
What you talking about?
I'm talking about Donald Trump being acquitted on Saturday, and Mitch McConnell.
I went ham
Mitch
on it,
McConnell
but I wanted to say, I'm gonna save something for you. Go ahead, man. You go eat, man. Eat.
Well, listen. I think. Listen, Mitch McConnell think it's motherfucking okay for him to come out and say this beautiful fucking speech everybody keep talking about. He gave after he voted not to convict Donald Trump. This is the epitome. This is the epitome of white supremacy. You can literally in one voice vote against convicting him and then say he's guilty of everything the charge implied. This we need to fucking play politics a completely different way in this country. We need to play politics a completely different way. Right now, Charles Booker's life should not belong to him. Charles Booker should be forced by the people to put his name on the fucking ballot to run for Senate again. Not that he can challenge Mitch McConnell for the next 6 years, but he can run for Senate right now. People should be absolutely disgusted with what happened from Kentucky senators and senators all over. People like McConnell, Graham, and all this bullshit they got going on is absolutely disgusting. And this country, I said it earlier today and I mean it. America will not fall like Rome fell. The way America is going to fall is white supremacy will fucking die. Will die. We need to force feed death to white supremacists and people that believe in that bullshit sooner than later. Because I cannot continue to believe that it's that many people in Kentucky that support this bullshit, man. This nigga literally, Marcus, voted to acquit Donald Trump and then gave a fucking speech right after saying that Donald Trump was guilty of everything he just acquitted for him of. What in the fuck are we doing? How is that okay?
White man. We electing white man. That's what the fuck we doing. But I mean, you said something earlier, so I'm gonna let you
go ahead.
You said something earlier, so I'm gonna let you say it because there's a way that we can. There's a way. Boy, today's conversation that we had about that special event that we trying to pull off. One, and by the way, Clickbaity, we trying to pull off some real big shit, y'all. I will give us that props, but you said something during that conversation today that made me think.
Oh yeah,
God,
oh yeah.
Damn, that our dude is doing good, bro. So go into that because there's a way to answer the Mitch McConnells of the world, and we could do it electorally. I'll let you hold that one down.
Yeah, listen. So I was privy to hear Jamie, who ran for Senate in South Carolina, who's now the DNC chair. I was privy to hear him tell Charles Booker that, look, you don't have time to waste. You need to do it now. You need to put your name on the ballot now because you got the party implying that he was going to put all of his resources behind Charles Booker. And he said you got progressives. So this has never been said by a party. I've never heard a party chair tell a black man that now is the time for you to run for a statewide election, a federal seat, a Senate seat. So for him to say that and tell him that it's now and he needs to stop wasting time is powerful. And it also lends us the ability to believe that Jamie is going to do something different with the Democratic Party at the national level. So I'm super stoked about that.
He already, not gonna. That conversation right there in itself was different. That you know what I mean? Like we don't have to, there's some shit we don't have to hope and wish for. We don't have to hope he does better. He just did better, right? You think Tom Perez or Debbie Wasserman Schultz is gonna run up to a black man in Kentucky and say, "Hey, you need to go ahead and start amping up your campaign right now"? No, they'll say that to a white lady in Arizona. They'll say that to a white person in the Midwest. They won't say that to a black person.
Let's go ahead and be honest.
Presumed white state, right?
Let's go ahead and be honest, Marcus.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and be honest. And this is probably gonna fuck up some context for me, but fuck it, why not? Tom Perez pulled a bullshit ass white man move on me after the election. He called me privately and said thank you for the work that we did at Black Male Voter Project, but he ain't never said that shit publicly. So you're absolutely right. I'm calling him out right now. I'm so tired of white people calling me after some shit or when I say some shit on a Zoom call, texting me about it, but they won't say it publicly because they don't want to risk their proximity to power. So yeah, you're absolutely right, Marcus. I'm tired. And for y'all that's gonna say Tom Perez ain't white, check yourself. Check yourself.
I got too many names to name. But first off, thank you for your truth. I got too many names to name. I mean, literally too many. But after Bernie dropped off and I dropped out, and I wrote an article in the Griot about how Bernie really lost. Every white person that literally didn't step up to help me in 2016 called me and was like, "We are so sorry that we didn't help you. We didn't have your back. These are the private calls, not no public ass shit like I got done. Like just some private ass calls, right? Like, so you know what? Fuck y'all people, man. Fuck everybody who wants to like fuck us over during the time period and not give us flowers when we're doing the real work, man. Y'all are full of shit. And Tom Perez knew better than to act like a white man when he was Latinx. He knew better than that because Tom Perez understands it, right? But also on the same token, and this kind of lends privy to a post that I'm going to share on my private page, but I'll share on the Clickbaity Facebook page. It's a post that Garrick McFadden, I believe, out of Arizona. He ran for Congress out there. Garrick put where he was like, Obama failed us. And there's a lot more people associated with Obama that are still hanging around politics right now that think it's okay to just half-ass black people. Right? Because since the first black president kind of half-assed us. And yes, you can get mad, right? This is not a bash Obama pretext. What this is a mentality that our value, our average value as homeowners, right? And average value per capita didn't change much under Obama.
And if we're gonna keep it a buck, that nigga deported more of our brown brothers and sisters than any president before him, and he killed more motherfuckers by drone than any before him.
Right. So if you have somebody who came in under his administration and worked for him and then took over the DNC, you got to America betting on black when it comes down to electoral politics is a risk only to white people and whiteness. It's not a risk to us. And Jamie knows it. Jamie knew it years ago. The DNC doesn't know it because the people who are at the top of the DNC, they don't know it. Y'all aren't gonna win elections without black people being involved. And furthermore, I always go back to this statement. Furthermore, like if y'all think that y'all gonna keep Trump away, doing something for black people when you're elected is actually gonna make that happen. Not doing something for people of color, indigenous people, black people, and people of color, not doing that, not stepping up to the plate and actually creating policies that change that, you're going to have another Trump administration or a Candace Owens administration or a Trump Jr. administration or some fucking fascist.
Or Trump daughter-in-law. Hey, Marcus, or Trump daughter-in-law, because you already see Lindsey Graham saying stupid shit like that Trump daughter-in-law is the fucking future of the Republican Party. And now she's about to run for fucking Senate in North Carolina.
Right. I mean, and here's the thing, man. For some strange reason, North Carolina just can't get right. Yeah, that's your statement. For I don't know when did North Carolina turn into Alabama, bro? Like, listen, like Like I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on in North Carolina, right? Like if I was, check this out. If
Bro,
I was a bad haircut having
black
black,
about North Carolina that most states don't have.
hold on. Let me finish real quick,
I'm
Mondale. If I was a bad
go
haircut
ahead,
having
Marcus.
ass Republican ass black man from Atlanta, Georgia, and I wanted to get elected to a major office, I would move to North Carolina.
You know what? That's a damn low blow about my goddamn home state. But let me not defend that motherfucker edge up. You can tell that motherfucker damn that nigga, you can always tell that motherfucker like, who the hell cut your hair, boy? That shit is. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Hey Marcus, that nigga edge up is rough. But no, but seriously, let me tell you what happened in North Carolina. What the difference between North Carolina is. Somebody said North Carolina is uniquely racist. Let me tell you what North Carolina uniquely is. The country has the Koch brothers, right? The Koch brothers support Republican extremist shit all over the country. North Carolina has their own version of the Koch brothers, right? There's this rich white guy named Art Pope in North Carolina who gives tens of millions of dollars to do this. He's been doing in North Carolina what the Koch brothers been doing nationally for like 10, 15 years. Super crazy motherfucker. All his money, he owns like Super 10 Dollar Trees, all those type of stores. And he's been funding all the crazy shit for that long. So when the National Democratic Party was focusing on dumb shit, he was focusing on taking over the state legislature. And that's what North Carolina is right now, man.
Yeah, I'm looking in the chat room. Would you Tunde, would you put that infinite content statement?
Yeah, we absolutely also we would never forget the coup in North Carolina. Women to North Carolina.
Yeah, but I wanted to tell you because you might not have seen it, but Sam Sneeder over there at the Majority Report, they did a whole like hour and a half segment on what happened in 1878.
Yeah, we don't need no white people to tell us about this shit.
I knew you were going to go there, but I actually appreciate it.
We don't need no white people to tell us about this shit. They keep calling it a coup. They keep calling it a coup as if it was something small. Marcus, you know what this is. So let me tell y'all what's going on right now. Marcus, this is gonna make you laugh.
What?
So if you put your computer, hold on, y'all. This is a nerd break real quick. If you put your speaker, listen, if you put your speaker on your Apple computer, but leave your earpods in, you can cut on YouTube and you can hear us on YouTube and the world can't hear us listening to us on YouTube and you still could communicate and hear you talking live. So I'm listening to YouTube and listening to you as well. So anyway, this is how I'm interacting with YouTube. So y'all see me for the first time in YouTube's chat. This is how I figured it out being a nerd. That's what I figured out. But what I was gonna say, Marcus, let's be clear about what Wilmington, North Carolina was, because they won't tell us, right? Motherfucking, it was racist white people overthrowing a duly elected government, a progressive government, black and white government, right? And they didn't just do that. That ain't all they did, brother. They told doctors, dentists, lawyers, they told black people that own businesses, you got to a certain time to get out, or we're gonna kill you and we're gonna take your business. So they not only did they overthrow a government and the federal government said nothing about it, they also took property. They took black property, black businesses, just took it over and killed people. We know, Marcus, you definitely know. What we saw in January the 6th is an American tradition when white people are upset with black people. That was nothing new. That was nothing new. They did it in Oklahoma. They did it in Florida. They did it in North Carolina. They did it in Detroit. They did it with guns. They did it with muskets. They did it with pitchforks. They did it with the federal fucking government and the highway systems. The only difference is this time it was televised.
This time it was televised,
right, brother. This time what it's telling about.
I mean, it's so many examples of why we need reparations. By the way, folks, again, and Mondale is just hearing about this, even though I talked to this brother like 7 times a day. I'm sorry, I'm just telling you right now. You found out on the show tomorrow at 10 o'clock. We're going to be watching the reparations. We're going to be watching the reparations hearing live right here on Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap. So please join. So please join Marcus. And I'm volunteering. I just volunteered Mondale. But please join. Please join. You can't even say no to this. Like Mondale, you can't even say, "Oh, I'm gonna do something else." You can't. It's impossible. It's the reparations hearing. Reparations. Rep 1. Nah.
Yeah, I am doing something else. This. I ain't doing nothing but this.
But tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
We're definitely gonna watch that.
Yeah, we're gonna be bringing this to you live, even if we can't. And Tunde, you're responsible for helping us figure out how we're gonna do it, because we know that y'all got other things to do, but still, that's we gotta figure out how we can put it up on the screen.
Soup game, Marcus.
Tunde,
Marcus, did you start some new shit?
Tunde.
Yeah, Marcus, did you start some? No, did you start some new shit?
Oh,
Soup game talking about drop your top 5 soups. No. What is? Did I miss something? Did we got some new group?
You don't remember this conversation about top 5? Oh, you were gone that day. So I was talking about top 5 something, and somebody brought up our top 5 soups, and I was like, "Is y'all niggas hungry? Like, who has a top 5? Who has a top 5 soup? You know what I mean? Like." But yo, throw your soup bowls in the chat room if you really got a top 5 soup, man. Split pea soup, clam chowders. I guess chowder is not a soup though, but we have to consider chowder a soup.
Chowder's a soup. Chowder's a soup.
Bone soup. Whale oil soup. Chicken head soup. Can you explain how?
Wait.
Back up on the screen.
How? It said, can you explain how? It said, can you explain how reparation brings? Excuse me. How reparation brings Green New Deal and also Medicare for all.
Okay, let's back up. Mondale, let's back up. Because
that's a new person.
Mondale, before you answer, we haven't addressed this in the proper connotation yet. Hey, Tunde, is there a reason why we're kind of breaking up? Can we get our? Is it my internet or am I tripping right now? Okay, all right, we're gonna catch back up, everybody. We haven't done this on Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap yet, and at least recently we've done it on other shows, but me and Mondale haven't tackled this right here, and we got other news to get into. But Mondale, I'd like to take this moment to talk about reparations, man. You with me?
I'm with you, fam. Let's do it.
Okay, check this out. Yeah, I hope you're ready for it, because this is something that we need to do, especially on the eve of what's the sister? Who's the sister who's bringing it up tomorrow? God, I'm so sorry, I forgot her name. God, I need to get her name real quick. Let's find her name. But HR 40 is being brought up. Now, HR 40 is a very it's for the study of reparations, and it's a very weak thing. It's actually probably HR 40 is to pacify you Negroes, honestly, right? HR 40 is it was basically built to pacify the reparations conversation, and they're bringing it to the bill right. They're bringing it to. They're making a commission on it right now because a lot of noise is being made. But let me let you know something. In America, when small things are being recognized for Black people, that means a much bigger issue is behind it. It always works out like that, right? So I want to make sure everybody understands this. So I'm gonna go through the basic history of what reparations is and why African Americans are owed reparations, especially African American descendants of slavery are owed reparations. Because we're not from here, jackasses. Y'all brought us over here. Y'all brought us ancestors over here, and y'all made them go to goddamn work for free so we could build your fucking country. End of story. Y'all owe us money for that. Shall I repeat that? Was that clear enough, Trap Squad? Was that clear? Was that clear enough? I'm not certain if that was clear enough.
That was pretty clear. That was pretty damn clear.
Okay, I'll do it again, right? So here's the reason
ahead.
why America owes Black people reparations. All right, I'm gonna do it one more time. Because in the beginning there was indigenous people, then came the white people. Then after the white people, is my camera off?
Yeah. Did you not charge it?
Oh snap! I charged it too.
God damn.
I charged it too. I don't know what happened. I charged it. Snap. Continue, Mondale.
It's all good. So yeah. So listen, Marcus is still with us, y'all. His camera, he's trying to figure out what's going on with his camera. It's probably that cheap ass internet that he got from Walmart, married to Target. But so listen, here's the real though. Anna asked a question that requires an answer. I think she wanted to know how reparation brings Medicare for all or Green New Deal for everybody. Here's my question to you, Anna. I'm going to answer your question, and not to sound too coy, but I want to know how does Medicare for all or Green New Deal address the racial problem, America's number one sin? How do you right the wrong of slavery and Jim Crow and 400 years of oppression to Black people? So the fact that you're more concerned about what's going on with the Green New Deal and or Medicare for all, but not what's happening to Black people, is scary to me. But our definition of Medicare, our definition of the reparation for all, is an omnibus bill that includes Green New Deals as an amendment, and Medicare for all as an amendment. But to think that Medicare for all or Green New Deal addresses all the problems that's ailing Black people, or the main problem that's ailing Black people, is a misnomer. It's a misnomer that's dangerous, because as dangerous as the Green New Deal is, the way white supremacy is escalating, they're trying to rid this country, this world of Black people before the environment does. Because of all the racism that exists in our medical system, Medicare for all is not enough to save Black people. This is where reparations steps in and fill the void. This is why reparations for all is necessary. I mean, reparations for Black people is necessary as the big bill, as the main target, and the inclusion of Green New Deal, because Black people are also the number one proponents of, or I should say the number one negative benefactors of what happens with the climate, or what's going on with the medical system in this country. So that's what we're saying. You can't think about Green New Deal or Medicare for all as enough. Reparations first with the amendment for a Green New Deal and also Medicare for all. Go ahead, Marcus.
No, I'm down. Go ahead, man. You got to hold it down for a second.
Oh, Marcus is still down. So I think that's important. When you come to us with questions like that, sister, I challenge you, sister, to check. I challenge you, sister, to reframe your questions. Don't talk to us about how does reparation include, caring for white people that are lacking, because that's what I hear in the Medicaid for all. Because Medicaid for all is not enough to address what's going on with Black people. If Black people had if all Black people had Medicare, we would still be suffering from racism in the medical. If the Green New Deal was a problem, Black people would still be suffering because of where we live and the environmental harms that happen to our community, and where we choose to throw our trash, and where we choose to create cancer clusters, and where we put farms that are upriver or upstream from Black communities that are in polluting waters. Where we put lead water is Flint and places that look like Flint all over this country, not places that look like Beverly Hills. So if we are trying to build a foundation for equity, then reparation must be that cement that's laid before we talk about Medicaid for all in a real way, or we talk about the Green New Deal. That's what I think Marcus meant when we initially started talking about reparations first. Reparations as the big bill with an inclusion for the Green New Deal and also Medicare for all. So, I mean, it's 9:40. My brother Marcus is still down, so I don't want to go to the new word. The key word, Brian, is absolutely equity. So many people talk about equality. The motherfuckers on this show, Marcus and myself, do not give a fuck about equality. Equality is not something we're interested in. So Brian, you're spot on, brother. Equity is more important. Equity is about making things right. Equality is about giving people the same thing. Giving black people what you give white people right now in 2021 does not correct what happened to us the 400 years prior to 2021. Equity is about addressing the wrongs that took place for those 400 years. So we're only considering equity. Equity is the building block that we want to start with. And if we're serious about that, then we need to be having conversations, real conversations about reparations and how we fix this. Or black men will continue to die a shorter life or live a shorter life than any other demographic, not just in this country, but in all of North America. Or rural black people in the South will continue to make up those that the demographic that is the third world nation in this country. Black people living in the rural South is the third world nation in this country. I was on the phone today screaming at Dominion Energy because Dominion Energy is in Virginia saying that they will not cut off people electricity and essential utilities. But in North Carolina and South Carolina, where we have a fucked up, ill performing government, Dominion is cutting off people's energy again. And they're also sending people out mean ass bills that say you will pay this bill by the 6 days from now, or your service will be cut off unless you pay $1,300 bills. People are getting $1,300 bills for electricity because they live in houses that are not energy efficient. They're old houses. These are people living on the margins. Some of these people don't even make $13 a month. And they're being told you can't get your medicine. You can't get food. You can't pay your rent. Because if you do any of that, we're going to strip you of your utilities. Freezing weather. Yeah, we need reparations first, y'all. We need reparations first.
I was listening to
$1,300. Claude, $1,300 is not even an outlier, bro. That's the fucking norm bill for this part of North Carolina that I'm talking about. Go ahead, Marcus.
I was listening to everything you said as I transferred over, and I just wanted to say, at this point right now, this is what makes our show a little different than other shows. Like, I could sit up here and never say the word reparations to most of you. I could never say. I don't have to say reparations at all. I could actually talk. I was trained. I did my only presidential media training was with Bernie Sanders, right? So the only talking points that I learned on a presidential level was Bernie Sanders talking points, right? I could easily talk about how we could, tax the billionaires and millionaires. I could easily talk about how messed up Republicans are. I can easily talk about how we need a living wage, much less a $15 an hour wage. I could easily talk about Medicare for all, right? And what I hate is when people try to always say, oh, we don't like Medicare for all because you're trying to conflate the issue. No, we're not trying to conflate the issue. During this COVID burst, we have proven our point many a times that even with healthcare, Black folks are getting treated differently. America will never beat fascism. America will never beat capitalism. And America will never beat white supremacy. All of these things, one of those things, even the president admitted was a problem. President Joe Biden admitted his first speech to America. He said white supremacy is one of the biggest issues concerning our country right now. We can't beat it. We can't beat none of those things without reparations because we can't start whole. Here's where I want y'all to go get your rocks out, like your little pebbles out and stuff like that, and your earthy spirits and your zodiac signs and your vortexes in Sedona. I want y'all to get all that stuff right now and know that, the earth will never be in harmony until black and brown folks get reparations. America will never be a harmonious nation in any kind of way. Moderation, capitalism, capitalism light, capitalism crazy, capitalism dark. Like everybody who's talking about policies all over the world. You know, other people look at America, and y'all don't even realize this. Other people look at America right now, and they say, "Huh, that's interesting." You know, y'all over here in our business, but y'all are killing your own black people at home. So, on this show, you're going to get a reparations first centered version of progressive politics. It's something different.
Would you say real politics? You say real progressive politics?
Real politics. Yeah. That absolutely. Like we're gonna give a real version of what progressive politics is. This is progressive. I don't know if our counterparts have figured that part out yet. And I'm not knocking anyone, and I'm so willing. That's why I appreciate Nomiki so much, man. Nomiki wasn't even thinking real. Well, she was always talking about reparations, but she wasn't really thinking about it as a tactic until she listened to us, and she was like, "You know what? You guys are absolutely right. Reparations is where is the one way to heal America, so that the issues that have happened in the past, the biggest atrocities in American culture, won't happen again." So tomorrow's a big day, 10 o'clock. Y'all can join us, and we can see if the process starts or if it doesn't start, or if it stops. And again, like I said last night, we don't even need this whole commission. If you want to be 1,000%, Joe Biden could roll over and create the commission tomorrow if he wanted to. If he wanted to, right? So, you know, explore with us because it's going to be fun. And with that being said, Mondale, let's take this break real quick, bro.
Let's do it, man.
All right.
Trap squad, 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 trap squad. Hey. Clickbaity political, yeah. Thirst trap, trap squad, squirrel squad. Our mission is critical to speak the truth to the masses. Yeah. We here for the fight. We ain't started, but we here to finish it. Sick and tired of seeing the privilege, take advantage of the weak and the innocent. So we let a voice be heard every single weeknight. Unapologetic, black people, despite this white supremacist system that we live through on a daily. We still throwing up those acorns cause we represent clickbait. Yeah, squad, trap squad, trap squad, let me hear ya. Trap squad, trap squad, throw those squirrels up if you with it. Trap squad, trap squad, yeah I see you, yeah I see you. Trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, ThirstTrap, trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, let me hear ya. Trap squad, trap squad, throw those squirrels up if you with it. Trap squad, trap squad, yeah I see you, yeah I see you. Trap squad, trap squad, Clickbaity, ThirstTrap, trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, trap squad.
Two fools who laugh at death. Do you know what horrors lie beyond that wall?
No.
Then you go first.
In the background, it's heavy metal. In the background,
That's what I got this for.
in the background, it's heavy metal. In the background, I said it's heavy metal.
Yo, that's our man, Dust Lord, man. Dust Lord, like, hey,
That's
send us
our
some more
man.
music. Yeah, we appreciate that. We appreciate that trap metal coming through. That's right. That's right, Andy. Well done, trap metal. That trap metal coming through for us this
Someone
morning.
said that WWE John.
Yeah, that's
Y'all
right.
don't know.
Listen, you've been rocking with you're now rocking with the best. You're watching Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap. Please follow us and like us on all of our social media channels, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Soon to be putting more episodes up on Apple podcasts and a couple of other podcast joints. You also need to check us out on Patreon, right? We need that. And cross post if you can, cross like, go to Facebook, go to Twitter. If you're on Facebook, go to YouTube. If you're on YouTube, go to Facebook. And if you're on either one of them, go to Twitter and vice versa. But make sure that you follow Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap. Also, if you don't mind, for me, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Marcus Farrell, the one that you see in the chat room right now. Y'all can just check me out. And also, I'll let Mondell handle his business. Mondell, where can they find you?
Monday Patreon. That's it. Black Male Voter Project and Clickbaity everything.
Clickbaity everything all day, every day. So what you gonna do with it? But guess what?
What?
It's Black History Month.
What month is it? What month is it, Mark?
Very scary. Black people loving black people. Say it again. Yo, we wild as shit, man.
It's February. It's very scary. Black people loving black people. Black people loving black people. Black people loving black people. It's February.
Hey.
People loving black people. Black people loving black people. Black people.
You got it, Mondell.
Yo, Bailey Lee said her boyfriend said she played this when she in the shower, and her boyfriend thought it was a whole man in the shower. Yo, do not. Bailey Lee, do not get your boyfriend coming behind us. Don't do it.
Hey, you got your boyfriend on mad at Black History. Talk about some.
Listen.
Who the fuck is February?
Listen. A little known fact about Mondell Robinson, man. I started out my college career at a very small HBCU called Livingstone College. Livingstone College, man. Livingstone College is in Salisbury, North Carolina. It's a school that is formed by Black money and a Black church, AME Zion, the Zionites. The Freedom Church is what we call it. The Church of Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, and the Lights. It's also, Livingstone is also formed by the church of Dr. Joseph Charles Price. Little people, if anybody, very few people that didn't go to Livingstone College know who Dr. Charles Price is. Dr. Charles Price was the premier Black orator and also thought to be the voice of Black people in his time. He is the founder and first president of Livingstone College. He's not only that. A lot of people don't know this, but he died of brightness disease when he was 39 years old. And had he not died at 39, people say that we would have never known who Booker T. Washington was, because the space that he was occupying, Booker T. Washington stepped in that space. While he was alive, people said things about him and that school. We're talking about Livingstone College. People were calling it Harvard of the South. And he rejected that and said Livingstone was not Harvard of the South. It was Livingstone. So, and this brother was amazing orator, amazing Christian preacher, and also, while there was not Black theology at that, like not articulated at the time, he was definitely a proud Black preacher who spoke freedom every time he opened his mouth. And many people, even contrary as W. Du Bois, spoke highly of this brother and thought that, you know, this brother was the future of our people. So if you don't know who Dr. Charles C. Price is, you should definitely do some research. That brother was the premier Black scholar of his time. and life was cut short, of course, way too early. And because of his death, we know who Booker T. Washington is. Charles C. Price, y'all.
Awesome, man. Real quick question. When it lies on the scale, real quick, and shout out to the young man who passed away young, but obviously just had a great impact on your college and Black America. Question is this right here. You made me think about something, Mondale. Team Booker T or Team Dubois?
Oh shit, man. That's a complicated question. Let me tell you why. So you know the dichotomy of black. Look, so the road to Black radical leads to both of them. Most people would say that. Most people would believe that it goes straight through W. Du Bois because he was the radical. He was seen as the radical, and Booker T was only talking about, you know, Black people not thinking about politics, only doing work. But in actuality, if you think about who started Black Pride in its original six, it was a brother from Jamaica, the big round brother who started Black Star
I'm Team Garvey. I'm Team Garvey anyway. So
yes, Marcus Garvey. But listen, Marcus Garvey, when Booker T died, Marcus Garvey wasn't on his way to America to see W. Du Bois. He was coming to see Booker T. Washington. So the crazy thing is, you think somebody as radical as Garvey on his way to America to see Booker T. Washington and not D.B. Du Bois. So it tells you that there's value in both of their thinking. I don't think my one pushback on Booker T. Washington is that he said Black people should only focus on the economy of our communities and not the politics, not realizing that the politics will always affect the economy. So, I mean, this is what we were talking about earlier in the Wilmington riots, Black Wall Street being burned down, what happened in Durham, what happened all over. So I find respect for both of those brothers, man.
We're gonna have to actually we're gonna have to do an episode on this one right here. But here's my thing about, I'm so jaded by right now. I'm so jaded by like right now conversations, right? That I can't always place myself, and I should, and I'm going to do better at this. So hold me accountable to that, Mondale and Trap Squad. But I'm always like, man, if I was a slave and Harriet Tubman came around, I would have left with her, right? Not realizing that,
right?
You know, there's a lot of slaves whose grandparents were slaves, and they were like, "Yo, what is Earth? What do you mean? I don't even know the road halfway down the. What is that? You mean the Earth is round? You mean the master don't make the sun come up? Right? Like right. That's they whole thing. Not so. I say that, I use that context to say this about Booker T. The gatekeepers would love Booker T. The gatekeepers just love Booker T. They talk about him all the time. I mean, I've read Booker T's works, and I understand exactly why, because they take Booker T's mentality just to right now, and they've inserted themselves into the politics as the people who need to be concerned about politics. And we got you, but you need to go to work and pull your pants up, right? In comparison to Dubois, who, you know what I mean, he was just, you know, he was literally like, all right, well, you know what? We could do it on our own, or we can take it. You know, like, and then of course Marcus Garvey, who was like, fuck it, let's just all take off and go home. Right? So that's it. That triangle, that triangle is an interesting triangle of Black thought that was going on during that time period. And I have to actually go back and start appreciating Booker T a little bit more than I did. But you know, what I noticed growing up is Booker T was the one who had the schools named after him. Booker T was the one who was getting like a lot more credit. It took like the 80s for Dubois kind of renaissance to come back around again. But in the 60s, it was Booker T. And that was because it was safe Negro time. The schools were named after Booker T. The schools were named after Dubois, right? And that's because that Cosby generation liked that Booker T shit. You know what I mean? Like the post-civil rights generation, Black folks like that Booker T shit in comparison to Dubois, who, you know, clickbait. I'm not gonna front. I think clickbaity, even though we need to start talking, you know, when we talk about economics, I think clickbaity is more in the spirit of Dubois than Booker T. And I don't think that's intentional. That's just my
I mean,
opinion.
but Marcus, I think you're absolutely right. With the exception, we would take exception. You and I both, as the heart of clickbaity, we would take issue with and W. Du Bois is one of my favorite people, right? But we would take issue with the idea of the talented 10th. We think that's bullshit. We don't buy into that.
Oh, absolutely.
You know
Yeah, that's
we
absolutely.
think W. Du Bois
right?
was absolutely wrong with that dumbass idea, right? So you're right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, again, like let the record show that Martin and Malcolm, history will show them different, whether wrong or right. History has shown them to be different, right? And it's funny because popular leaders in the 60s that the white people put up to try to elevate as our black leaders in the 60s, right? Those popular black leaders, we don't even know their names anymore. If you think about that, like all the people that the white folks propped up, we don't even know their names anymore. There's a bunch of pastors from down south that they propped up, and they were supposed to be the Negro speakers, and I don't even know any of their names. Monday, you know what I'm talking about? Do you understand? You remember? I don't even remember. You might remember some of these cast names, but I don't even remember them. And they were trying to teach black folks how to be a little bit more docile. Yeah, down south. Right. In comparison to like now, everybody knows Malcolm X when they both were polling lower than 20%.
Not only that, they know Malcolm X and they know Malcolm X and them goddamn deacons of you remember them goddamn deacons? Before the Black Panthers, we had the deacons in the South, baby. Them motherfuckers was the truth. So you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
So I mean, history changes up how folks get seen. I am going to give them the benefit of the doubt that black thought in the 20s, in the 1900s, in the 1910s, 20s, and 30s, like just having black thought upon itself is a little different than what we have right now. And I mean, here's the problem. Nowadays, before I get into my Black History segment, nowadays, Mondale, there's no out loud train of thought that's opposite of our liberation. If you think about it, right? No, we don't have people writing books on how to be a gatekeeper and why being a gatekeeper is better for black people. You ever notice that? It's either you're black liberation or you're quiet. I mean, am I wrong? Like, there's no books that's coming out saying, "Oh, actually, I'm lying." There is a book. It's Barack Obama's book.
Barack Obama's new book.
Yeah.
Yo, how the fuck we were on that together?
Yeah, I forgot.
That's my rehearsal.
Hey, can we run back to Black
History? We just feel the same way about that book.
Yeah. Can we run back to Black History music one more time, please?
One more time, that Black History music.
It's February, yeah. February. Black people loving black.
Turn it up.
Yeah, we wild shit, man.
It's February. It's very scary.
This February, on the 16th of this month, I am going to go ahead and give you guys my person for today, and that's the good Dr. Ronald E. McNair, the second black man in space. And y'all know how I am about space, right? And I keep telling y'all this right here. Y'all ain't leaving us behind. I keep telling y'all, I know y'all white folks want to leave us behind, but we're not going to get left behind after y'all destroy the earth. We're going to actually get us out of here first. So Robert McNair was born on October 21st, 1950 in Lake City, South Carolina. Now that ain't country right there. And he ended up graduating as valedictorian of Carver High School in 1967. He earned a Bachelor of Science from North Carolina A&T. You know how hard it is for me to give North Carolina A&T props, but they made a dope one right there.
Maggie Pride.
Yeah, Maggie Pride, right? North Carolina A&T University in Greensboro, South Carolina. He graduated. He received a PhD in physics from MIT, and later on went on to beginning to work for a couple of different companies. But he was a staff physicist at the huge research lab in Malibu, California. And I mean, shout out to the Q Dogs. He also was a Q Dog, right? He flew 3, I believe, NASA space missions. He was a specialist on the Challenger before it blew up, and then from February 3rd to February 11th in 1984, becoming the second African American to fly in space. And of course the Challenger disaster. McNair was one of the crew members of the Challenger that died from 73 seconds after liftoff. And I'm aged myself, but I remember that moment, and I remember this picture right here that you're watching right now. I remember that right there, saying, "Oh, there's a black man." I remember saying that to myself. Everybody was concerned about the teacher, but I was concerned that there's a Negro in space, and I said, that right there is motivating me to let me know that all these cartoons that I'm watching with white people in space aren't there. McNair was an accomplished saxophonist. He actually was playing saxophone and Jingle Bells during his space flights, right, in the past. And I mean, he just honestly just represented us in a way that no one else at the time, to me, had done when it comes down to the sciences. And he did everything the right way. He went from an HBCU to MIT to space, right? So here's a shout out to Robert McNair. Schools are named after him. There's science departments that are named after him in colleges across the nation. There's a high school right here in DeKalb County, McNair High School, right here in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia area that's named after him. He has plenty of scholarships named after him. And if you don't know enough about him, you go read some of the stories about him. So shout out to Robert McNair, and shout out to our Black History Month project. So you can take that to the bank. And with that said, my brother Mondale, you got anything for the church?
Here's what I want to say to the church. To all my squirrels out here running up and down trees across streets, risking your life for that nut. Keep going. Look out for them truck tires. They got new treads out there bigger than 22s. Motherfuckers are driving Challengers and Chargers. Some of them are Hellcats. We got to survive, y'all. We got to survive. Be safe, squirrels. Get that nut, but be safe.
That's what I'm talking about. Peace out. We'll see you tomorrow.
Trap squad, 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 trap squad. Hey, clickbaity political. Yeah, ThirstTrap, trap squad, squirrel squad. Our mission is critical to speak the truth to the masses. Yeah. We here for the fight. We ain't started, but we here to finish it. Sick and tired of seeing the privilege, take advantage of the weak and the innocent. So we let a voice be heard every single weeknight. Unapologetic. Black people, despite this white supremacist system that we live to on a daily, we still throwing up those acorns because we represent clickbait. Trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, let me hear ya. Trap squad, trap squad, throw the squares up if you with it. Trap squad, trap squad, yeah I see you, yeah I see you. Trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, ThirstTrap, trap squad, trap squad, trap squad, let me hear ya. Trap squad, trap squad. Throw the squares up if you with it. Trap squad, trap squad. Yeah, I see you, yeah, I see you. Trap squad, trap squad. Clickbaity, ThirstTrap.